The meaning of life. Xiefeng. The meaning of life lies in how to extend our life to higher-level life spaces, which is to seek the Tao and become a celestial being. Without understanding this, life will be a state of confusion, impermanence, tragedy, brevity, and suffering. With this understanding, life will be clear, enduring, a comedy, eternal, and happy. Due to the opposition between gods, human nature also contains two opposing sides, righteousness and evil. Every person, upon introspection, will find that they are a unity of gods and demons, and it depends on which aspect we develop toward. Developing toward righteousness can lead to becoming a celestial being or a Buddha. Lacking clear moral direction, we continue to be human, while developing toward evil makes us become animals. To maintain the relative stability of the universe, the greatest creator regulated everything in the universe and placed spirituality within all beings. Spirituality is the source of life, and the greatest creator is the sole source of the essence of life. The law of energy conservation and the law of the indestructibility of life are universal principles in the cosmos. According to these laws, we understand that the total number of species on Earth remains constant. Every species has a natural upper limit to its population. When it develops to a certain number that threatens the survival of other species, it will inevitably decline. If one species increases, another will decrease. When the human population reaches a certain limit, it will no longer increase. However, the problem is where the increasing human population comes from and where the decreasing populations of other animals go. The law states that everything has a spirit. In terms of spirituality, all beings are equal. The value of a wolf on Earth is no different from that of a sheep. The role of a human on Earth is no different from that of a monkey or a bee. The value of a peach tree is the same as that of a willow tree, and roses and grass are equally valuable. The difference lies in the quality of spirituality each possesses. For example, with the same type of stone, if its hardness reaches 10, it becomes a diamond. With a hardness of 9, it becomes a ruby or sapphire. With a hardness of 8.5, it becomes a cat's eye. With a hardness of 8, it becomes yellow sapphire or spinel. With a hardness of 7.5 to 8, it becomes aquamarine or zircon. With a hardness of 7.5, it becomes emerald or green sapphire. This hardness continues to decrease, resulting in tourmaline, quartz, amethyst, garnet, olivine, jadeite, wood fossil, soft jade, euclase, moonstone, sunstone, turquoise, etc., with hardness ranging from 3.5 to 5. It becomes shoyu jade, pearls, peacocks, corals, and so forth, all the way down to granite and common pebbles. Similarly, based on the quality of spirituality that each possesses, one can evolve from achieving Buddhahood or becoming a celestial being to becoming a human, crane, tortoise, dog, horse, ox, sheep, pig, flying bird, or walking beast, and so on. The same stone, such as aquamarine, can be divided into various grades based on its refractive index, specific gravity, color, transparency, brightness, and the pattern of its crystalline structure. The same applies to people, who can be divided into ignorant people, worldly people, mortals, sages, and saints based on their disposition, education, knowledge, wisdom, and level of civilization. Human beings are composed of a material body and a spiritual soul. After death, the physical body, which originates from energy, returns to energy. The spiritual soul, on the other hand, comes from the greatest creator, and it is eternal and indestructible, undergoing a cycle of reincarnation. This cycle is determined by a person's actions during their human life, specifically, the purity of their spiritual soul after the physical body's death. Depending on this, the spiritual soul can ascend to become a Buddha or celestial, continue as a human, or descend to become a bird or a beast. Therefore, the increase in the human population on Earth comes from other species, and some animals transform into humans. Now that we understand the position and predicament of humans, we must know that humans on Earth are under the guardianship of two opposing gods. We are faced with two completely different choices every day and every moment. One path requires us to sacrifice our immediate interests to pursue perfect humanity, with a focus on spiritual life and an increase in the quality of spirituality, ultimately leading to the thousand-year world. The other path requires us to pursue material enjoyment at all costs, maximize material wealth and social status through competition, without considering any illusory afterlife. Because righteousness and evil coexist within human nature, our lives are always filled with contradictions and suffering, regardless of how we conduct ourselves. Being kind, honest, upright, and diligent does not guarantee immediate rewards in this lifetime, just as being evil, deceitful, cunning, or lazy doesn't necessarily lead to a difficult life. Misfortunes and disasters can befall both the wicked and the righteous. Even if we continuously pray, make offerings, and refrain from wrongdoing, there is no guarantee of wealth, well-being for our descendants, or freedom from illness. It's important to understand that our every word, action, and behavior have an impact on our spiritual essence, which will influence our next life. Therefore, we shouldn't use worldly success or failure to judge our moral standards. We should not imitate someone who engages in wrongdoing but still hold high positions, enjoy wealth, and have prosperous descendants. We should also refrain from mocking someone who dedicates their days to reciting scriptures and worshiping deities, yet experience poverty and hardship. Our brief human existence is merely a transitional phase, and its significance lies in our pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and ascension. Human society can be likened to an alchemical furnace, where gold is refined into celestials, and the remaining impurities are classified accordingly. The purpose of life. Xiefeng. The purpose of humanity is to serve the greatest creator, just as the purpose of flowers and plants is to serve humanity. The purpose of human life is to transform karma. We come to the human world for a reason. In the universe, there are no phenomena or results without reasons. We come to the human world instead of other spaces because various causes and conditions inevitably lead us to become human. We come to enjoy the pleasures of the human world and to bear the pains of being human. Why do we have to endure the suffering of being human? It's because we created karma in our past lives. There are no phenomena or results in the universe without causes and conditions. The suffering and hardships we endure are to repay the debts from our past lives. The more suffering we endure, the more debts we repay. Those who oppose us, insult us, bully us, exploit us, oppress us, humiliate us, deceive us, or create unjust cases against us are helping us to transform karma. They are our benefactors. On one hand, we need to transform karma and eliminate the sins we created in past lives. On the other hand, we need to refrain from creating more karma. If we continue to create karma, we will be reborn as humans in the next life. The more karma we create, the more suffering we will experience, and we may even descend to the animal or plant realms. If we stop creating karma and attain perfect humanity, we can enter the thousand-year world in the next life. If we not only stop creating karma but also accumulate merits by serving society and others, we can enter the 10,000-year world. If we neither create karma nor cease in our virtuous deeds, and we also proclaim the glory of the greatest creator, we can enter the eternal realm, the Elysium world. This is the purpose of human life. 人群分类. Classification of people. Xiefeng. On the surface, there doesn't appear to be much difference between one person and another. We all have the same organs, senses, and bodily functions. We all eat, drink, excrete, and engage in activities like walking, sitting, and lying down. However, once we engage with someone, ask them to perform a task, or have a conversation, we quickly realize that people are vastly different from one another. Most individuals tend to believe that they are not much different from others, with distinctions primarily revolving around differences in wealth and social status. In reality, the variations among people are primarily rooted in their spirituality and wisdom. To help us understand what kind of individuals we are, and to provide a sense of direction for personal growth and goals in life, I classify people into 5 categories: ignorant people, worldly people, mortals, sages, and saints. By considering these categories, you can assess where you currently stand in your life journey. Ignorant people. Basic characteristics. They lead instinct-driven lives, often with disordered lifestyles and no clear life goals. Their values are in chaos, and they struggle to prioritize and distinguish between what's essential and what's not. They spend more time engaging in mindless actions than using their intellect. Instincts overpower emotions and rationality. They lack proper self-assessment and an understanding of life's meaning. Their lives are often marked by confusion, frustration, and erratic emotions. They are arrogant, blindly optimistic, and feeling superior when successful, pounding one's chest, feeling pessimistic and disappointed, and blaming the heavens and others when facing setbacks. They are quick to anger, easily irritable, often unreasonable, and susceptible to manipulation by others. They admire heroes, prefer excitement and dramatic events, and are willing to make great sacrifices for their friends. They have no secrets, are straightforward, and lack a sense of responsibility toward family, society, and others. They are selfless and without faith. Worldly people. Basic characteristics. People who live by desire, with the central focus of life being money, fame, status, and beauty. They enjoy flaunting, boasting, and showcasing themselves. They like to praise others and be praised by others. Every word and action revolve tightly around their own interests. When their interests are threatened or harmed, they disown even their closest relatives, be it siblings, friends, companions, colleagues, or superiors and subordinates. They disregard national and ethnic interests, group and family interests, and principles of benevolence, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, and trust, as well as laws, rules, and regulations. To achieve their goals, they resort to any means, and they repay kindness with enmity. They have a narrow perspective, seeking only personal gain. They heed rumors and readily exaggerate them. They spread gossip without distinguishing between truth and falsehood. They meddle in conflicts, regardless of the consequences. When it comes to acquiring knowledge, they are particularly obsessed with fringe theories, strange tales, conspiracy theories, and privacy breaches. They enjoy hopping from one thing to another, seeking attention. They excel at empty talk and making far-fetched references. Worldly people enjoy engaging in superficiality and also delight in nitpicking, interfering with, and critiquing other people's lives and lifestyles. They are not concerned with reason and fairness, show no mercy when they are right, excel at finding loopholes and seizing advantages, and lack compassion and empathy. They pay little attention to public hygiene, are selfish, and constantly feel that society and others owe them. In places with many disputes, you find worldly people. In families lacking harmony, you find worldly people. Mortals. Basic characteristics. They are people who live based on emotions, and the central focus of their lives is family, relatives, friends, colleagues, classmates, groups, ancestors, countries, and nationalities. Their minimum life standards include having enough food and drink, having healthy and successful children, enjoying a harmonious and happy family, and living in a peaceful and tranquil society. Their intermediate standards include being able to bring glory to their ancestors, to become renowned, hope for their sons to excel, wish for their daughters to succeed, having wealth within their family and a bustling life outside, and having the capacity to seek revenge or settle scores. Their highest standard, to contribute significantly to one's own ethnicity, religion, group, political party, or country to leave a legacy and be remembered for generations to come. Emotion and reason are the primary factors considered by mortals in handling all matters. They are the most tormented group among the population, as they possess thoughts, emotions, rationality, and ambitions, yet find themselves entangled in the mundane world. They must constantly interact with the ignorant and worldly people, battle against the biases of society, contend with their inner desires, and resist traditional ethical and moral norms. Their inner world is often filled with conflicts and regrets. They yearn for personal growth, but also seek to conform to societal expectations. They require so much yet receive so little. They often lament the scarcity of time and the brevity of life, feeling as though they are adrift in the river of the world, unable to control their own destiny. As they age, they increasingly rely on fate. Mortals do have beliefs, but these beliefs are conforming, blind, helpless, and arbitrary, rather than based on an understanding of truth. Therefore, the faith of mortals is fragile and cannot withstand scrutiny. It changes with the times and the living environment. The reason why they are called mortals lies in their lack of steadfast faith. They cannot and will not derive strength and wisdom from their beliefs. Generations after generations, they can only exist and perish in the painful whirlwind of the mortal world. Mortals tend to regret the past, overlook the present, and yearn for the future. They will never be content, and the suffering of mortals will never end. Sages. Basic characteristics. They are transcendent individuals who lead their lives with reason. They possess clear minds, knowing when to advance, when to retreat, what to seek, and what to forego. Their life goals are to pursue health, wealth, and freedom. They have their own principles and adhere to societal codes of conduct. They can freely manage their time, maintain harmonious and happy families, live in harmony with society and nature, and are mostly liberated from the trappings of fame, status, and wealth. They control their own destinies, move with ease, have extensive knowledge, communicate with civility, display noble conduct, are understanding and reasonable, optimistic, and kind-hearted. They are the pillars of civilized society. Sages are gems among people, possessing significant intrinsic value. Regrettably, while they escape worldly affairs, they cannot escape the limitations of time and space. In the end, they cannot enter the higher realms of life. Sages are just one step away from truth. If they can self-enlighten or receive guidance from higher beings, they can do their best to complete their duty, achieving tranquility, purifying their hearts, and through cultivation, they can attain complete transcendence, become free from worldly concerns, worries, be free from cares, and transcend beyond the ordinary, and ultimately surpass time and space to enter the realm of immortality. Saints, celestials. Basic characteristics. Wise individuals who lead a spiritual life and have attained enlightenment. They have knowledge of the mysteries of the universe, the truth of life, the evolutionary laws of the 36-dimensional spaces, and the essence and meaning of life. They have not only freed themselves from the temptations of wealth, fame, status, and beauty, but also from the constraints of time and space. They live carefree lives, transcending worldly concerns. Saints have mastered the mysteries of thinking. Having understood the mechanics of energy transformation, they can essentially manifest their thoughts into reality, turning life into an enjoyable game, and death has become a beautiful aspiration. Saints do not overly concern themselves with the sufferings of the mortal world. They never interact with worldly people and avoid interacting with mortals. They typically reside in secluded areas near picturesque mountains and rivers, disguising themselves as ordinary citizens, leading a tranquil life detached from worldly strife. They enjoy solitude and value friendships with like-minded individuals. They are not fond of noise and are characterized by activities such as drinking tea, playing chess, reading, and practicing meditation. Sometimes, they may spend an entire day playing with ants or engage in singing competitions with birds. Whether the birds' songs are more melodious or their own hoarse singing sounds better, it doesn't matter to them. As long as it's fun, they enjoy it endlessly. Attaining the realm of a saint undoubtedly leads to the 1,000-year world. Above is the classification of people, and by now, I'm sure most of you have an idea of which category you might fall into. If you find yourself as an ignorant person, you might not be able to pinpoint your position, and after reading this classification, you might feel very frustrated, even wishing to throw a few punches at me. If you identify as a worldly person, you may hold some jealousy in your heart because I've exposed your mindset and peeled back your facade. For those of you who see yourselves as mortals, reading this might evoke a sense of sadness. When you witness that some people in the world seem higher and happier than you, an unexplainable jealousy and envy may arise within you, especially when it comes to wealthy individuals. You might have thought that once you become rich, others would envy, respect, and follow you. However, you never imagined that in the eyes of sages, you're still an ordinary person, and in the eyes of saints, you're just an ignorant one. On the other hand, if you identify as a sage, you'll likely be overjoyed, feeling as if you found a long-admired bosom friend and suddenly realize that your wealth is boundless and that you can benefit infinitely from it. If you consider yourself a saint, You might laugh heartily and criticize me for being idle and wasting time. Regardless of whether you feel anger, jealousy, happiness, or laughter, as long as you take a moment to calm your mind, you'll find a sense of gratitude deep within you. After all, you've come to understand your own state of existence and where you should strive to develop. If you aspire to attain pure spirituality and progress towards the level of a saint, I have categorized human qualities into 18 grades for your reference.
好人、善人、坏人、恶人的标准。
The standards of good, kind, people and bad, evil people. Xiefeng. March 17, 2011. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. The standards of good, kind people. All those who bring joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings to others are good, kind people. All those who lead others to the way of the greatest creator are good, kind people. All those who help others to get through difficulties are good, kind people. All those who promote others into good and harmonious relationships are good, kind people. All those who love and cherish nature and life are good, kind people. All those who promote human beings toward the directions of peace, union, and prosperity are good, kind people. All those who can live independently but do not bring troubles or pain to others are good, kind people. All those who lead others to a wonderful future are good, kind people. The standards of bad, evil people. All those who bring to others troubles, pain, fear, and anxieties are bad, evil people. All those who lead others to the way of the devil are bad, evil people. All those who lead others into difficulties are bad, evil people. All those who destroy nature and hurt life beings are bad, evil people. All those who block others' good futures are bad, evil people. All those who impose their own wills upon others are bad, evil people. All those who make and spread rumors are bad, evil people. All those who urge others to enter into marriage, traditional families, or any organizations are bad, evil people. 看看自己是不是正走在魔鬼的道上. Check if you are following the road of devils. Xiefeng. Have you ever experienced afflictions, vexation, anxiety, sadness, and fear? Have you been cheated, bullied, blackmailed, oppressed, and humiliated by others? Have you felt frustrated and desperate at life and life? Do you know why all this should happen? Let me tell you, all this is the work of the devil's program. All this happens because many people are walking on the road of devils. The program of the devil tempts people with money, wealth, fame, position, power, beautiful women, and ease and comfort to intermarriage and family, nation and state, political party and religion, businesses, cultivation groups, and various organizations. As a result, these people are kept busy rushing about for all these matters. They would rack their brains and take great risks to achieve these purposes. For these purposes, they would shout their support, cause harm to others, and do damage to other life forms and the nature. People are walking on the road of devils when they struggle for their own interest, for their family's interest, for their nation's interest, for their country's interest, for their political party's interest, for their religion's interest, for their company's interest, and for their organization's interest, and when they each try to cheat the other by sheer cunning and falsehood and grab at each other's throat. Why should things fare like this? Why does not the greatest creator stop us? The principle goes like this. Unity of opposites is a law of the universe. Superior and inferior, up and down, bright and dark, leader and the masses, hell and heaven, higher order of life and lower order of life, man and ghost, man and other animals and plants, carnivores and herbivores. Otherwise, life cannot go on, and the great drama of the universe cannot be staged. It is just like the case of a man for whom eating and drinking form opposites with defecations. The opposites can be united and complement each other. In addition, there is a principle of the universe, namely the sum of positive energy and negative energy is zero. Therefore, everything must be symmetrical, and there must be balance between yin and yang, and loss and gain. What one gets in and what one pays out should be orderly, and the power of angel should hold the power of devil in check. To be more specific, in order to survive, man should have animals and plants to provide for his existence. The life at the lower order must serve the life at higher order. Then who will be the man? And who will be the animals and plants? Some people will go to heaven, but who will go to hell to maintain a balance? There are leaders, but there must also be the masses. Thus, the devil's program is necessary. Without it, the universe will lose its balance. The survival of life cannot be guaranteed, and the whole universe will be listless and pale. Actually, the devil Satan is a deity, an archangel and chief angel, who is toiling to maintain the zero sum of positive energy and negative energy. Burdened with notoriety and bad name, he is serving the life of the whole universe. He must deliver many life forms to the lower order of life and lead many life forms to hell. Thus, when a person is walking on the road of devil, he is making his way to the lower order of life and the hell. The devil will not show any appreciation for this, but will say instead, "What an ignorant fool you are." Now let's see whether you have taken the road of the devil. If you have one of the following 18 items, then be careful, you are walking on the road of the devil. You are in marriage and family, rushing about for your own family. You are striving and struggling for your own country, nation, religion, political party, organization, or group. You are concentrating yourself on making money and worrying and rushing about to amass your wealth. You are racking your brain and sparing no effort to win a good fame or secure a high position for yourself. You are stealing, contending, or robbing, mugging, or killing, pilfering, cheating, corrupting, bribing, or accepting bribes, or requiting kindness with enmity. You are doing something in the secret which you are afraid of being discovered. You are bullying, oppressing, blackmailing, exploiting, maltreating, humiliating, or trampling on others. You break your word and do not keep your promise, always trying to find an excuse or reason to exculpate yourself from your fault or crime. You are eating things you are not supposed to eat, using things you have no right to use, and doing things you are not entitled to do. You are affronting or desecrating the greatest creator, or affronting or desecrating God and Buddha, or affronting or desecrating sages and saints, or affronting or desecrating ancestors, or affronting or desecrating president of the country, or affronting or desecrating your own parents, or affronting or desecrating others. You are threatening, abducting, or controlling others and restricting their freedom in the name of love or other excuses. You are propagating and publicizing incorrect outlooks on life, value, life, and the world. You are inciting or abetting others to plot a rebellion. You are spreading gossips and rumors to ruin the close and harmonious relations between others. You are jealous of others' joy and happiness, and you feel resentment at others' freedom and blessing. You are always envying, or complaining, or reprimanding, or hating, or detesting, or attacking, or hurting others. You are always making comparison with others, or prompting others to make comparisons. You are polluting the rivers, the land, and the air with chemical materials, waste water, and waste gases, or polluting others' spirit and soul with negative, passive, and pessimistic mood. If you have any one of the above 18 items, then you are walking on the road of devil. You should wake up and realize your mistakes and rein in at the brink of precipice before it is too late to repent. Where should I go after turning back from the cliff? Answer: walk on the road to heaven and follow the way of the greatest creator.
满足人生需要的道路。
The ways which meet life's needs. Xiefeng, October 23, 2014. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. The American psychologist Abraham Maslow believed that human has 6 major needs: physiological, safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. To be specific, life needs food, water, air, sex, sleep, safety, resources, health, medical care, assurance of having a job, family affection, friendship, love, self-esteem, social status, confidence, a sense of achievement, morality, skills, creativity, and so on. Meanwhile, Maslow also argued that human needs are hierarchical and that they will be fulfilled at each level, from bottom up. That is to say, fulfilling the physiological needs comes first, then the safety needs, and so on, and the self-transcendence efforts can only be made after self-actualization. For me, Xiefeng, my life needs are as follows: a room with a bed, a desk and a chair, 3 suits of clothes and 2 pairs of shoes, 2 meals with plain tea and simple food each day, being surrounded by like-minded people who share the same resonance of consciousness, being busy every day, having a clean, orderly, and beautiful environment, sharing everything with everyone, doing everything willingly but nothing compulsorily, peace, harmony, warmth, health, realizing my dreams and ideals, understanding life and time and space, and knowing the destination ahead and the realm that life can reach. How does one realize this ideal of needs? Maslow listed them from the bottom up, but I do from the top down. I have found that in Tao, virtue, benevolence, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, credibility, achievements, sorcery, and magical art. Only when there is Tao, everything else can be met. If we start from the bottom level and first pursue magical art, then one can never reach the realm of Tao because life is too short, and when we have fulfilled all our needs at the lower levels, we would have neither the time nor the energy to pursue Tao. Thus, we have to first clarify life's road ahead and the realm to which life wants to take us. Once this key issue is resolved, the others will readily be. I used to be obsessed with making money. I built my own company, and at one time I had 4 stores, a nightclub, a bar, a fast food restaurant, and also leased a dancing hall, a restaurant, and a barber shop. My annual net income reached hundreds of thousands USD. Later, I miraculously survived a car accident and began to understand things differently. I found that people had unexpected good or bad fortune and that life is vulnerable. If you do not first understand life's value, purpose, and meaning, and the principles and mysteries of life, then no matter how you live, your life will be blind and you can never fulfill your life's needs. I then gave up my businesses and immersed myself into studying the meanings of life, and from there, I developed the theories of first fulfilling the top-level needs and to gradually fulfill the needs of the lower levels in a natural order. Today, I have fulfilled all the levels and have achieved my life's needs, though this would be extremely difficult for even a president or a billionaire to do. Now, what else do I need? I only need one thing, and to have fun. I do whatever is fun. The desire to enjoy the finest food, clothing, accommodation and travel, birth, senility, illness and death, fame and wealth, and leaving a lasting reputation are out of my mentality. Everyone who has communicated with me has benefited from me, so I think that becoming a guide to life and life is not only appropriate, but is also assumed.
满足人生需要的道路。
The ways which meet life's needs. Xiefeng. October 23, 2014. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. The American psychologist Abraham Maslow believed that human has 6 major needs: physiological, safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization, and self-transcendence. To be specific, life needs food, water, air, sex, sleep, safety, resources, health, medical care, assurance of having a job, family affection, friendship, love, self-esteem, social status, confidence, a sense of achievement, morality, skills, creativity, and so on. Meanwhile, Maslow also argued that human needs are hierarchical and that they will be fulfilled at each level, from bottom up. That is to say, fulfilling the physiological needs comes first, then the safety needs, and so on, and the self-transcendence efforts can only be made after self-actualization. For me, Xiefeng, my life needs are as follows: a room with a bed, a desk and a chair, 3 suits of clothes and 2 pairs of shoes, 2 meals with plain tea and simple food each day, being surrounded by like-minded people who share the same resonance of consciousness, being busy every day, having a clean, orderly, and beautiful environment, sharing everything with everyone, doing everything willingly but nothing compulsorily, peace, harmony, warmth, health, realizing my dreams and ideals, understanding life and time and space, and knowing the destination ahead and the realm that life can reach. How does one realize this ideal of needs? Maslow listed them from the bottom up, but I do from the top down. I have found that in Tao, virtue, benevolence, righteousness, courtesy, wisdom, credibility, achievements, sorcery, and magical art. Only when there is Tao, everything else can be met. If we start from the bottom level and first pursue magical art, then one can never reach the realm of Tao because life is too short, And when we have fulfilled all our needs at the lower levels, we would have neither the time nor the energy to pursue Tao. Thus, we have to first clarify life's road ahead and the realm to which life wants to take us. Once this key issue is resolved, the others will readily be. I used to be obsessed with making money. I built my own company, and at one time I had 4 stores, a nightclub, a bar, a fast food restaurant, and also leased a dancing hall, a restaurant, and a barber shop. My annual net income reached hundreds of thousands UNRMB. Later, I miraculously survived a car accident and began to understand things differently. I found that people had unexpected good or bad fortune and that life is vulnerable. If you do not first understand life's value, purpose, and meaning, and the principles and mysteries of life, then no matter how you live, your life will be blind and you can never fulfill your life's needs. I then gave up my businesses and immersed myself into studying the meanings of life, and from there, I developed the theories of first fulfilling the top-level needs and to gradually fulfill the needs of the lower levels in a natural order. Today, I have fulfilled all the levels and have achieved my life's needs, though this would be extremely difficult for even a president or a billionaire to do. Now, what else do I need? I only need one thing, and to have fun. I do whatever is fun. The desire to enjoy the finest food, clothing, accommodation and travel, birth, senility, illness and death, fame and wealth, and leaving a lasting reputation are out of my mentality. Everyone who has communicated with me has benefited from me, so I think that becoming a guide to life and life is not only appropriate, but is also assumed.
向全球征集新时代人类生活理念。
Collecting new era life values from global citizens. Xiefeng, May 20th, 2014. Translated by Teng Xin, Song Long, and edited by Kair. In order to inherit the wisdom of the past saints and sages comprehensively and to absorb the precious thoughts of today's saints and sages, and to realize the dreams of the talented will be put to good use, and the whole world will be one family, no one would pocket anything found on the ground, and doors are not bolted at night, and everyone is joyful, happy, free, and blessed. Human beings can develop sustainably. The 800 Values for New Era Human Beings will begin its 3rd revision. Every citizen on Earth can take part in this activity regardless of which religion, political party, country, nation, or ethnic background he or she belongs. Anyone interested, please selflessly devote your wisdom to the betterment of the entire human race, because as long as your thoughts are beneficial to the interests of all humanity, we will accept and compile them into the 3rd version of the 800 Values for New Era Human Beings. Please note that we are calling for values, not views or beliefs. We are calling for life values, not market values, country values, religious values, values for political parties, etc. Values are the crystallization of wisdom and thoughts, but thoughts and wisdom are not values. The values we need are life principles to follow. Therefore, please condense your wisdom and thoughts into values which can be expressed concisely and succinctly, but with rich content, and use one sentence instead of 2 sentences if it is already clear enough. Please do not explain your values or present your reasoning with long texts. Please contribute your wisdom and values regarding these 8 aspects. How to achieve a harmonious coexistence among people, society, and nature. How to let everyone on earth have dignified, joyful, happy, free, and blessed lives. What values, modes, and phenomena in people's lives are ignorant and backward, and with what new ones should they be replaced? What kind of lives should we lead in order to resonate with the laws of nature and of human nature? What kind of belief system, moral system, and value system should we build? What is the meaning of civilization, and what kind of civilized principles and etiquette should we follow? The universe is infinite and creation is limitless, so toward what direction should we walk and what kind of life level or condition should we pursue? What right values should human beings follow in all aspects of the fields of their production and lives? We will bring people into the highly civilized Life-Genuine era, and this will be a common objective for all human beings. We hope everyone on Earth will participate in it actively, and we look forward to the contributions of foresight and understanding and incisive values by the sages of this time. What we need is positive, optimistic, and very creative energy. Therefore, we will turn a deaf ear to all that is negative and pessimistic. For those values which are directive or educative, or sound like advice or guidance, unless you have done it yourself and have reached that standard, please do not bother us because we have no time to listen to moralizing. But if your values are correct, we will follow them immediately. The second home of Life Genuine is a big international family, and this family leads a life completely according to the 800 values for new era human beings. As the life and production modes in the second home become more and more perfect, it will achieve a lever at which it will be able to change the fate of humans and will lead the world into a higher, more civilized level. Please be aware that many groups of people in the world are totally selfless and have dedicated their lives to the happiness of all people. These are the pioneers who are moving forward and are striving for the best. Please spread this article as widely as you can.
活人需要明白的八大道理。
8 Truths by Which to Lead a Life. Xiefeng. Edited by Kair. Living in this world, we need to understand why we do and how we should, or we will live an unclear and muddled life. For every road on the trip ahead, there must be a destination, and different ways of living will ultimately afford us different views and lead us to different destinations. As a messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, and the guide for human spirits and souls, I propose the following 8 truths by which to live. Please examine and consider them, and choose whether they make sense and whether they can benefit you. Rivers have sources and trees have roots. People have parents and celestial beings have ancestors. Everything has its origin and all effects have their causes. Rivers will run dry without sources, trees will wither without roots, people will scatter without parents, and celestial beings will fall without ancestors. Therefore, in living a life, we have to connect our souls to their source to be clear and to gain eternity. The source of everything is the greatest creator, and we, our lives within our life, should always keep the greatest creator in mind and live in accordance with the will of the greatest creator. In this way, our life can reach a wonderful destination in the end. Life is a short journey of life in the mortal world which begins when we are born and ends when we die. You were there before you were born and will still be there after you die. Birth and death are only life phenomena, and not the beginning and end of life. So it is very important to learn from where you came and to where you are going. The mortal world is a transition between different levels and different types of life. Passengers traveling in all directions will transit through this mortal world and stay for periods of time, whether they will ultimately ascend or descend. Therefore, the mortal world is populated with all levels and all types of life. Gods, Buddha, celestial beings, saints, goblins, devils, ghosts, monsters, and demons all exist in the mortal world, and as such, anyone's life trip can be misdirected by only slight miscalculations. We must therefore sharpen our eyes and be weary of the negative influences in life. Everything in this world exists within the unity of opposites, and the result of it is always neutral. That is, the amount of positive and negative energy in the universe is always equal. What you have paid and what you have gained are always equal. This means that what one gets and what they give within a lifetime are equal. If you gain more, you must pay more. And if you pay more, you will gain more. If someone pays a lot in their life stage but gains little, then their extra payout will await them in the bank of heaven. Tao. But if one gains more than they pay in this life stage, then they will owe a debt which must be and can be paid off in many different ways, such as becoming a cow or a horse in the next life, or becoming a chicken or pig and being slaughtered and eaten, or working for others, or even falling into the lowest space of life and having to withstand great stress, pain, and hardship. Therefore, we should try our best to pay more and gain less in this stage of life, because no one can enjoy more than enough blessing, and they must know when to stop. We can become enlightened from nature. That is, each life needs to live to its fullest and live itself out. Only thusly can this world be colorful and wondrous. Therefore, everyone has to live out their own innate nature by living for their own well-being first. It is only when people live well that they can be beneficial to their loved ones and others. If they do not live for their own well-being, then they will bring endless pain and trouble to everyone and become burdens and loads. For instance, some parents live bitter lives and often cannot meet their basic life necessities such as birth, illness, retirement, and death, so they can never bring blessings to their children. We often hear parents say, "My child, I have suffered through a bitter life all for my child. This attitude is an excuse for their bad life because they want to transfer their pain to their children and make those children suffer guilty consciences for their parents' deprivation. Consequently, not only does the parent deprive themselves, but then they guilt-trip their child. This kind of outlook on life is incisively manifested by married couples when the husband and wife each believe that they have sacrificed for the other and that the other owes them. As a result, both suffer and neither lives out their Tathagata nature. In short, one has to live for their own sake and their own well-being because anyone who lives for others will not only spoil their own life, but will also inflict heavy psychological burdens and spiritual bondage upon others. What is there for people to live for? It is to live for their innate natures, for their gifted natures, to live happy, joyful, free, and blessed lives, and to leave no regrets, remorse, resentment, or sorry at the end. To do this, one cannot live for power, wealth, fame, beauty, vanity, religion, political party, state, nationality, family, or others. They must not try to possess or control anything or anyone, but must accept them as they are and associate with others by following predestined relationships to act in accordance with their natures and to take advantage of opportunities as they arise. They must deliver their lives into the hands of the greatest creator through the arrangements of Tao. Everything physical is a game, but only the soul is true and worthy. Do not be too serious or persistent on anything. Go for it if it pleases and uplifts, but forget it if it hurts or degrades. People will die and fields will become lakes, and that which we are so serious and persistent about, or which troubles us now, will eventually vanish from our consciousnesses. Why bother? Everything in life runs in Tao. Everything is karma. The Lord is everywhere. You reap what you sow. Divine punishments, though slow, are always true with big meshes, letting nothing slip through. Therefore, we must lead honorable and upright lives which are centered on sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and honesty. No one should be stealthy or talk about spirits, deities, fortunes, or disasters. A good conscience knows no fear. Whatever one thinks, speaks, and does should be faithful to the earth, the sky, others, and society, and to their own consciences. In this way, their life journey will become smoother and more comfortable as time goes on. Their life's future will also be smoother and more beautiful. Just do ordinary, simple things within the capacity of your lifetime. Be content to be ordinary and do not pursue the extraordinary. Settle on doing more small things and avoid attempting big things. Learn how to enjoy the unknowingly quiet life and avoid being the target of the known and the noisy. 1,000 miles can be covered by constant small steps, and rivers and seas are filled where small streams gather. We should always direct our efforts toward laying this kind of foundation. In this way, with persistence over time, the most ideal life will appear, and the most beautiful dreams will come true. These 8 life truths are only my perceptions and are only fit for a small minority. Accordingly, the majority of people are unable to accept them. If you think they make sense, then use them as references. If you think they do not make sense, then find your own ways. We do not discuss, debate, or argue.
用哲学辩证法指导人生。
Life Guide with Philosophical Dialectics. Xiefeng. Translated by Transin and edited by Care. Philosophy is the abstract theory about the nature of the universe and its developmental law, as well as the relationship between thinking and being. Dialectics is the theory of the unity of opposites, the contradictory movements of things, and the universal connections and characteristics of them. In terms of properties, dialectics is part of and resides within the category of philosophy. It is like consciousness and thinking. Thinking is part of and resides within the category of consciousness. Speaking metaphorically, philosophy is the human body and dialectics are its eyes. Philosophy deals with the broad sense, while dialectics deals with the narrow sense. Philosophy is general while dialectics is specific. It is my opinion that philosophy is science and should be understood and reasoned with real evidence, without which it would not be logical, and that would in turn lead to wrong conclusions. For instance, both the absolute idealism and absolute materialism sever the unity between the two sides of the contradiction, such as religion, which emphasizes more about the idealism and ignores the value and meaning of real existence, and pragmatism, which stresses more about existence itself, but less about its causes. The theory system of life Achanuan is mainly based on real evidence, although I have previously expounded more about the teachings and instructions of gods, Buddha, celestial beings, and saints in human history as the core, which is somewhat empty for the faithless, and not only lack operability, but also lack the cognition of the scientific nature of the spatial-temporal universe, life, and life. It is like Lao Tzu's descriptions of Tao, an image of what existed before God. The Tao that can be discussed is not absolute Tao, evasive, elusive, yet latent within it are forms. Dark and dim, yet latent within it is the life force, too specious to be understood by anyone who is not extremely wise. How do we guide our lives with philosophical dialectics? Buddha has no settled rules. Buddha's rules always vary according to the situation. Keep the main and change the others according to the situation. To be selfless is to achieve self. To be free from ego is to achieve ego. To own nothing is to own everything. And so on, which I summed up conforms to dialectics in the philosophical sense and can guide life. Now we will talk in detail about how to understand the world and how to guide our lives with philosophical dialectics. First, let us see the universal law of the unity of opposites in a philosophical sense. This law is to say that all things in the universe consist of pro and con factors which are opposite, incompatible, and contradictory as fire and water. But paradoxically, it is precisely this organic unity of contradictions that makes the world complex and colorful. Specifically, positive balance is negative, light balance is dark, true balance is false, good balance is evil, imbalance is yang, male balance is female, up balance is down, the rise balance is the fall, death balance is life, the tangible balance is the intangible, and so on. How can this analysis be significant to guide our lives? The law of the unity of opposites tells us that there is the physical world, but also the spiritual, heaven, but also hell, material structure, but also the non-material, and the tangible human, but also the intangible God. As such, our consciousness and thinking are not limited to our mortal lives, and will not be limited to the material world that we see. Our field of knowledge can expand to unlimited space and time, to the afterlife, to the non-material world which we can neither see nor hear from our current place. What a remarkable leap of faith this is! Thus, as human beings, we should not only value the present, but also consider the future, not only pay attention to reality, but also consider nothingness, not only cherish life, but also pay attention to the afterlife. Let us now look at the law of mutual change of quality and quantity in a dialectic sense. This law says that any change of quality must be based on an accumulation of quantity. When the accumulation of a quantity becomes saturated and passes a critical point, its quality or qualities will change. This law has a measurable value and significance in guiding our lives. From the law of the unity of opposites, we understand that while there are humans, there must be gods. Since there are gods, the existence of celestial beings and Buddha become reasonable. Humans, gods, Buddha, and celestial beings are life of different natures. People have human nature, gods have divine nature, celestial beings have theirs, and Buddha has Buddhist nature. If human nature is to be sublime to divine nature, there must be an accumulation of quantity, and the accumulation must develop towards the divine nature. 1,000 miles cannot be covered without an accumulation of steps, and there will be no rivers or seas without the integration of small streams. If one gradually accumulates a divine nature, then in accordance with the law of mutual change of quality and quantity, they will eventually become godlike. Based on the dialectic law of the negation of negation, we can conclude that new things must conquer old things. New things refers to those which are in line with objective law and posse's strong vitality and broad developmental prospects. Old things are those that run counter to objective law and will die out. To determine whether a thing is new or old is to look at its nature, not its form or appearance. For example, many new religions have sprung up like mushrooms with new forms and manifestations, but their natures are variations fermented in old nests, and they are not new at all. Now let us look at the new methods, new measures, and new channels, with the aim of earning money across the globe, such as the transformation from traditional manufacturing industries to service and infotech industries, which appear new when seen from their form and appearance, but are still, essentially, ways to make money. Thus, they are not new because the nature of their profit motive has remained the same. As in the Yangtze River, the waves behind ride on the ones before. New generations excel the old. This is a reflection and portrayal of the law of the negation of negation. From the phenomenon of the global rise of the divorce rate and the growing number of singles, we can surmise a law such that the family as a traditional production and life mode will be gradually replaced with a new form of production and life mode. This is an objective law which will not change by people's subjective wills and will not stop advancing just because people resent it or rebel against it. This new mode is replacing the traditional production and life mode, is a new thing, and no force can prevent its development and growth once it happens. However, the growth and development of new things is bound to suffer and will have to overcome arduous and tortuous processes. When you invest yourself into the development of new things, you must be psychologically and spiritually prepared to suffer difficult times, or the new things will eliminate you. The prospects of old things are dark, but the prospects of new things are bright. So the farther you walk on the way of old things, the narrower it becomes, but the farther you walk on the way of new things, the wider it becomes. It rises here but sets there. It increases here but decreases there. Two extremes are connected but will go in different directions when pushed too far. The rise is sudden, but so is the fall. Ill gain brings ill fate. Karma is the shadow following a body. Extreme joy begets sorrow. Out of the extreme misfortune comes fortune. All these conform to dialectics, so we have to remain alert and have confidence all the while. After we understand the universal law that positive and negative energies always balance out, we can deal with life affairs skillfully and easily. We know that when we constantly give and contribute rather than take and consume, we will accumulate many treasures, but where? They are reserved in the afterlife or the non-material world. Who will enjoy these treasures? No one can, other than the one who has accumulated them. Otherwise, the universal law that positive and negative energy always balance out would be violated. As it is a universal law, it is a necessary procedure. When you pay, you must receive. When you receive, you must pay. If you have given but have not received in the mortal world, then you will undoubtedly receive in your next life or in heaven. Otherwise, the universe would be unfair and untrue. Everything has its destiny. The total energy in the universe is constant. This is consistent with the law of the conservation of energy and of matter. In terms of philosophy, yin cannot exist without yang, and yang cannot grow without yin. Yin and yang are the law and order of the changes of all things, Huangdi Neijing. As we know from the water on the earth, regardless of the surging rivers brought on by rainstorms or the increase of snow cover on mountaintop, its total volume remains constant. It is destiny. This is to say that the quantity of life in the universe is constant. It increases here but decreases there. It rises here but falls there. Well then, where does the increase in human population come from? Are new lives born out of thin air? People who have explored and studied anything about reincarnation know that human reincarnation happens several days before birth. Therefore, an embryo or fetus does not contain life. It can only be called life when a reincarnated soul enters into it. Thus, we know that a new life will only be born when an old one passes on. There is no life without death and no death without life. That is it. In this case, we know that the increased life on the earth must have come from somewhere. If a new life is born, then an old one must have ended. If we analyze carefully, we may wonder about the many animals on the earth that have died. Where have they gone? Have they become human? Where will their lives go if the earth has a mass extinction in the future? Please refer to 36-dimensional space for the answers. Philosophical dialectics can guide our lives. We have just discussed how to guide our lives by philosophy from the perspective of philosophy. This enlightenment is only the tip of the iceberg. You may draw general conclusions about other cases from specific ones. I hope that each one of you will lead a smart life and that you will have wonderful life prospects.
人生是一场幻象。
Life is but an illusion. Xiefeng. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Illusions are phenomena that appear in dreams, fantasies, and phantasms. With further inferences, all phenomena that arise quickly, remain briefly, and then disappear equally quickly can also be thought of as illusions. Mirages are illusions, as are dreams, soap bubble patterns, and even thoughts at the end of the day or when we are bored will form them. It can be inferred that flashes and pans are illusions, a large number of cells, microbes, and fungi are illusions. Many photos online are illusions, computer games are illusions, and movies and TV shows are illusions, too. Dreams are illusions because the dream world lasts for a short time. If one dreams for 100 years continuously, would that be an illusion or reality? Of course, it would still be a dream because the moment that the person wakes up, the dream would disappear. So how could the dream not be an illusion? It can be concluded that no matter how long a phenomenon exists, as long as it disappears completely at some point, it too must be an illusion. Thus, it is possible to conclude that life is an illusion because even someone who lives for 100 years will eventually disappear altogether. So why would that be different? Having dreamed throughout the night, we wake up in the morning, and no matter how much we twisted and turned during our dreams, we no longer care about anything that happened in them because after all, they were fantasies, dreams, and illusions. A dream will not affect our mood or state of mind too much. Here is the question. Since we have deduced that life is an illusion, is it necessary to be sad for our twists and turns in life? Is it necessary to be anxious about things in our life? Is it necessary to struggle hard for things and hunger to reach goals? Is it necessary to make others behave according to our own wills? When the illusion of life disappears, will it not float away as a dream? When the earth we live on disappears completely in the infinite universe and all of humanity disappears as an illusion, what about a single person? To analyze and judge this question, I want to wake you from your dream to let you not be a human being, but rather a celestial being. When you wake up, will you still go into your dream to be nostalgic for something or to fight for someone in your dreams? Of course not, because it was an illusion, a fantasy. Well, life is also an illusion and a fantasy. So shall we be racked by people and things in this illusion? Of course not. Who remembers their grandparents' grandparents? Not to mention the fact that the memories of our grandparents' grandparents are already blurred even in the incomplete memories of our grandparents. Who will remember us 100 years after we die? We take for granted that we have importance in the present, but that is a complete illusion. Many great historical figures have died. They thought that they were important back then, but what about now? The earth goes on turning and humans go on reproducing. The footsteps of civilization never stop marching forward. So it is unnecessary to be too sad when people around us die because death is a normal phenomenon and everyone will die, including ourselves. So never be overly anxious, fearful, or sorry because it is all an illusion. Nobody can control your dream. Who can even control their own life? It is delusional to think that if you do something, you will get something. That is impossible. You cannot secure yourself against all risks and dangers. How can people control your life? You cannot wear shoes when you are supposed to be barefoot, and you cannot stay on the mountain when you are supposed to leave. Cold shoulders cannot be expected when you are thriving and on the way up. That every cloud has its silver lining may be forgotten in despair and adversity. Therefore, never force yourself to learn, suppress yourself to work, or force yourself to do what you dislike and which is against your own better judgment. No matter how successful you are, outstanding or a billionaire, or how glorious your family reputation has been flowing down through many generations, when you wake up, all will have been a dream. Affection and love tactics are the most difficult traps for people to escape. They are the most terrible traps in life. Ask the mortal world what love is. It drives one mad to death. Now think about it. Life is but an illusion. After waking up, everything will be nothing. So is it necessary to be bogged down on affection and love? It might actually be better to live as a beau, a dandy. What people fear most is losing what they own and are most attached to their property, their power and status, their reputation, and of course their most beloved lover. However, they are not at all necessary. What really belongs to you and cannot escape is yours, but if it is not yours, you cannot keep it. Any way one looks at life, it is still an illusion which can be shattered and vanish in a moment. So why make yourself suffer for it? Why not enjoy a natural and unrestrained dream? Has anyone in history been so intelligent and so powerful that they could control everything? Not one. Everyone is acting in a play. They are playing roles, following scripts. If anyone could control all things with their wisdom and power, their fortunes would be as boundless as the East China Sea, and they would live a very happy, healthy, and eternal life forever. Have there been any? Not one. This proves that man is only a grain of sand in a sandstorm, a drop of water in the sea, and that nothing can really be controlled by anyone. So why not just follow predestined relationships and take things as they come? Life will be easier and more natural. People expend a lot of time and effort on their health and appearance, yet regardless of their daily exercise and nutritious eating habits, the sick are still sick and the short-lived still come to untimely ends. No matter how much paint and powder one applies to their face or how much plastic surgery they undergo, wrinkles still creep onto the forehead and cheeks as time passes, and signs of aging become more and more visible every day. These changes cannot be resisted, so why try to fight them when you know that you cannot? Life is too short. Fiddle with this today, fiddle with that tomorrow, and remain confused. You will still get old, fade away, and die. It is a bad deal to live in fantasies, but an even worse one is to indulge them. Do you worry? What do you worry about? You were worried when you were dreaming. What about when you woke up? My point is that there is no need to worry about anything because all of life is ultimately only a dream. There are no real scenarios because life will end. Will all the worry not be gone with the wind? Enjoy the present. Do not worry about tomorrow or the next day. Everyone's life has been predetermined by their destiny, their script. Worry is useless, so why persist with this fantasy, waste your recreation time, and ruin your relaxed mood? Your state of mind is different when you are asleep than when you are awake. Sleeping people lead befuddled lives in their dream worlds of obsession, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and fear. However, fully awake people know that all is but an illusion, so they have neither strong bliss nor intense grief, but are just pleasant, relaxed, and calm. Who are these people? Celestial beings, of course. Within the universe, everything is an illusion except for the greatest creator. People live in illusions because all lives are illusions. In this sense, illusions are reality. Illusions are stages of life. People live one dream after another and live a large number of dreams throughout their lives because lives consist of dreams. Although people live in illusions today, this is really the entirety of human life. Never expect to lead a real life without it being an illusion. Even the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world are all illusions. The differences are that those illusions are more beautiful and splendid and go on much longer. It is very clear that everything is an illusion, but most people are too stubborn, obstinate, and perverse to see them as such and are convinced that they are living in reality. When one awakens from their dreams, their soap bubbles will burst and they will say goodbye to their dream, but they will do it unwillingly and with disappointment and frustration. Knowing that life is an illusion, how does one lead a wonderful life? Whatever it is that makes you happy, joyful, free, and blessed, just do it. Follow your best judgment, have fun, then play. If something bothers you but you need to do it, make a perfunctory effort. No fun. See you later. Better yet, never see you again.
第二家园走不复古文明道路。
The second home does not take the road of reverting to ancient civilizations. Xiefeng. People have created splendid cultures and invented innumerable production tools and living products. Inventions, innovations, and scientific developments have relieved us from backward and primitive production and living modes. Except for those gifts bestowed by nature, all that we enjoy today comes from those advancements. If civilization abandoned science and technology, then it would not be an advancement, but a regression. The way of the greatest creator is the way of nature. Scientific inventions and technological advancements have not gone against nature, but some have been used in irrational ways. Achievements of technological inventions and progress have gone against the ways of nature in many aspects, but the fault is not theirs. Rather, it is from people's misuse out of selfishness and greed. Cutting vegetables is a natural use for a knife, but using it to cut woods or to kill people is a misuse. The problem lies not with the knife, but rather with the person who misuses it. It would be extremely illogical to blame the knife, rather than to look into the false consciousness of the person who behaves irrationally. Would it be better to use toilet paper or clods of soil to wipe one's buttock? Of course, toilet paper is better, at least more hygienic. If a toilet paper manufacturer cuts a large amount of woods and then spills wastewater into rivers, it would not be the fault of the toilet paper, but that of the manufacturer who has ignored the result of wrong behavior by only pursuing economic profit. Some people are under the mistaken belief that the production and life mode of the second home will lead to a reversion to primitive conditions, but returning to nature does not include doing such things as eating raw animal flesh and drinking its blood, or wearing the skins and furs of animals. Rather, it means that we should live according to the will of the greatest creator, and by the principle that people need to coexist with nature harmoniously. At least we can say that people should not advance at the price of natural destruction, but according to the fundamental principle of sustainability. What we have created is a brand new civilization which will not only inherit all the positive achievements of scientific and technological development, but will also advance humanity into a more developed stage of civilization. It would not be possible for us to revert to ancient practices because although we would absorb wisdom from ancient cultures, we would not be limited by them. We would learn from their essence, but would not revert to them. Our thoughts should neither be confined to ancient ones, nor make us repeat the mistakes of our ancestors. Following in their footsteps, we need to initiate a new future and a new way of living which will avoid the recurring tracks of previous civilizations which have been destroyed completely. Religions should not stop progress, politics should not be short-sighted, economies should not destroy nature, and societies should not be reluctant to advance forward. The biggest crisis facing humanity is that of the soul. All others pale in comparison. When this crisis is eliminated, all others will disappear automatically. Do not define the second home by using concepts of old production and life modes, and do not assume that the second home will be the same as any other living mode in human history. We are walking on a new road which aligns completely with the will of the greatest creator rather than human will. It will bring happy, joyous, blessed, and free lives to people, and even allow them to evolve into celestials. I am the spiritual guide of humanity. I will lead people to an unprecedented, amazing future and even take some to heaven. This is not a boast. As long as you follow me, you will experience it step by step.
生命绿洲模式将解决人类面临的21个难题。
The mode of the new oasis for life will solve 21 difficulties that mankind is facing. Xiefeng, June 27, 2020. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Whether we call it Utopia, New Eden Garden, Kingdom of the Greatest Creator, or Xiefeng-style communism, Life Genuine's new mode of production and life in the new oasis for life will solve these 21 problems that have been handed to us over thousands of years of human history. It will free women from their daily trivial chores forever. The elderly will lead their happiest lives in old age, whether they have children and receive pensions or not. The phenomenon of orphans will disappear forever. All children will lead lives full of love and care and will be well educated. The phenomena of people remaining unattached and lonely will disappear forever. Domestic violence will disappear completely. The conflicts among religions and belief systems will end forever. Political parties will have no purpose, so competitions among them will disappear. All people will be able to travel throughout the world freely and without restrictions. Military expenditures will be reduced to zero because there will be no militaries. Border and land disputes between states will no longer exist. Regional and ethnic conflicts will no longer exist and peace will abound everywhere. Drug abuse and gambling will disappear completely. Official corruption will disappear completely, as officials will have neither need nor ways to corrupt. No wealth disparities will exist as everyone will have everything yet own nothing. Courts, lawyers, and legal systems will die out gradually as they will no longer be needed. Criminal activities will be reduced by 3/4 and security will be greatly enhanced. The population will stabilize without sharp increase and decrease and will be in balance with planetary resources. Atmospheric pollution as well as that in all water and on the earth will disappear. Extinction of species will end and many lost ones will return. Climatic disasters will no longer occur and distinct seasons with consistent climate will become normal. At least half of the people will sublimate into angels, bodhisattvas, celestial beings, and Buddhas. Do not take this as a joke or myth or consider it an armchair strategy. It has been the firm evidence of Life Echanuan's theories and the model of the new oasis for life which have been existing and developing for 10 years. It is the ideal that mankind can fully realize. Whether you wish or not, and believe it or not, mankind has been bound to and is entering into the Life Echanuan era. Everything is running according to procedure. 明明巧安排平凡度人生. Life arranged ingeniously, the ordinary life. Xiefeng. March 27, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Kair. Times change, lives reincarnate with their ups and downs, and human reproduction flourishes. Time and tides annihilate emperors, generals, and ministers. Green grass invades countless palaces and pavilions. The strong disappear in an instant with their great achievements. Heroes who had once shed blood and tears are nowhere to be found. Huge amounts of wealth perish quickly like dreams. Even the rich starve to death in the wilderness. In front of desolate and dilapidated empty buildings was once bumper-to-bumper traffic. The winners were frustrated. The powerful were desolate. Fires were extinguished into ashes regardless of how fierce they might have been. Overwhelming storms returned to calmness. In life, it does not matter whether you win or lose. In the world, it does not matter whether you are right or wrong, gaining or losing. Everything is destined. Everything is a constant. We suffer from our own actions. We harvest what we sow. We are responsible for our wins and losses. The greatest creator never has special mercy for anyone and never intentionally abandons anyone. Those who exploited others will be exploited. Those who hurt others will be hurt exactly the same, not more and not less. Evil rages in the guise of justice but will be contained eventually. Self-interest is cheating and bluffing in the name of public good, but it will eventually be recalled. Advantages taken will surely be lost, and every extra gain will become a loss. Tao is never absent. Angels never leave. The devil never slackens. Prosperity ends in a big mess. Prosperous ages end in ruins. Lavish banquets end. That which flourishes dies. Phenomena will not last, but essence never changes. There are tens of thousands of ways to die. If one does not know how they will die or where they will be in 100 years, then what is the use of being busy? Why are you in a hurry? Clouds are rolling and unfolding. Flowers are blooming and falling. Rushing passers-by cannot hold anything. Lonely ghosts cannot find places in which to settle down. What are you fighting for? What annoys you? It is all a waste of energy, a waste of the meaning of life. Useless usage has great use. Power, status, reputation, money, real estate, and houses are all passing clouds, and the winner of them must be captured by the devil. The states of realm, virtue, quality, etiquette, gratitude, contentment, and courtesy are all the claims of life, so one will be blessed by heaven if one possesses them. The sum of all positive and negative energy of the universe is zero. If you gain something here, you will lose something there. Looking at heaven, looking at hell, looking at the world, everything is clear. Joy is sorrow, gain is loss, suffering is happiness, frugality is abundance. You might be eager to get what you want, but when your desire is met, misfortune will follow. You might be eager to achieve success, but when you succeed, you will suffer from it. Virtuous individuals, please listen to me. Avoid the urban noise and return to the rural countryside. Life is like a chess game, and each one is different. We cannot see it through. We cannot explore it all. Why not raise a few chickens and ducks or go to watch the full moon in a field? Pickles and steamed buns warm the stomach and ragged clothes are like honey to the heart. The chaos of the world is not without its source. Do not go back and